العلم أشراف مطلوب وطالبه لله أكرام من يمشي على قدم. العلم نور مبين يستضيء به أهل السعادات والجهال في الظلم.
Okay, that's enough of the exercises. We've done the exercises, huh? Right. Alhamdulillah, now you've got a good base that you can work around now. Okay? We're going to get into the book now. What time is it?
40 past.
Quarter past?
No,
40 past.
5:40. So what we're going to start with, yeah, the Shaykh rahimahullah, he starts with the inheritance of the children, okay? Then he moves on to the brothers and sisters. The reason he does this is he's following the order of the verses in the Kitab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah starts off with يُوصِيكُمُ اللَّهُ فِي أَوْلَادِكُمْ لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the children. When a person leaves behind children, if there's a group of them, sons and daughters, لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. A male gets 2 portions and the daughter gets 1. فَإِنْ كَانَتْ وَاحِدَةً فَلَهَا نِصْفٌ. If she is 1, she gets half. وَإِنْ كُنَّ النِّسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُمَا ثُلُثَانِ. If there's more than two or more, although the verse says more than 2, then they get 2/3. طيب. We're going to start reading it. Akin al-Matan. Mirath al-Awlad is what we're going to start with. So write inheritance of children. So write a title, and the title should say inheritance of children. Inheritance of children. Okay. And now we want to know who comes under this. Remember what was the first question out of those 3 W's? Who? So who comes under awlad? Who is considered children? Does the zawja come under awlad? La. So who comes under awlad? First and foremost, the ibn. The ibn, the son of the person. So let's draw a diagram. Zayd, let's towards the middle. So Zayd, he has daughters and sons. Ibn, his name is Ahmed. Taib. He also has a daughter, Bint, and her name is Hind. Understood? Taib. Ahmed has a daughter, has a son. His name is Ali. He also has a daughter by the name of what?
Zahra.
La, give me a number. Give me a number.
Aliyah.
Aliyah. Aliyah. طيب. These are the people that are included when we say awlad. Hind has an ibn, she has a bint, she has another ibn. Okay, so now why have I drawn this? Because I want to understand, I want you to picture who comes under awlad. Who comes under awlad? I've written it here, I want you to write it like that, but I also want you to draw this. Okay, so the first person that comes under ibn or awlad is the ibn. This person, he comes underneath it. Why? Because he's the so Zayd is the one that's going to die now. Okay, Zayd is going to be the deceased. He's the first one that comes under it, ibn. Okay. Now I want you to also write here level 1, and here level 2. Okay. This is level 1. This is level 1. And this is level 2. You with me so far? The ibn of Zayd is who? Ahmed. He is an ibn. So whenever we're talking about awlad, he comes into it. Who is this Hind? She's also a bint. She's the daughter of who? Of Zayd. She also comes into it. So if Zayd passes away, this is the first line of defense and they're definitely going to inherit. Okay? So the second person that comes into the inheritance of Zayd is his daughter. Okay? Why have I written level 1 here? Because these are the direct descendants of who? Zayd. With me so far? Okay. Let's start with Ahmed, his children. He has how many children? 2. And they are on the second level. Okay? His son Ali and his daughter Aliyah, they also inherit. Remember, who's the deceased? Zayd is the deceased. Zayd is the person that's passed away. Okay? Let's say there's no Ahmed here. These children of who are they the children of? Ahmed. So what's his name, for example? Ali ibn Ahmed ibn Zayd. But why is he inheriting? Because he's directly from the male line. Directly from the male, he's a direct descendant through the male line. Is that understood? Right. Aliyah also inherits. So put a tick there, and now put a tick here. Aliyah also inherits. Why does Aliyah inherit? Because she is a daughter of a male. She is a daughter of a son. Okay? She is a daughter of a son. Technically here I should have written Ibn, the son of a son. And here I should have written Bint and Ibn, the daughter of a son. Who is the son that Ali is a son of? Ahmed. Who is Ali is the daughter of who? And Ahmed is a son. You with me so far? So far, we've got Ibn. You know where the Ibn comes from. He's a direct descendant, a direct child of the deceased. And you know where Ibn comes from, right? That's Ali here. He's the son of Ahmed. Is that understood? Right. Bint here. Where's Bint? Where's Bint in the table? Hind. Excellent. So now we've got Hind as well. Where's Bint and Ibn here? Aliyah. Okay? So Aliyah is also what? She also inherits. Who does she inherit? Zayd. Zayd is her grandfather. Okay. There are 3 other people that we haven't named here, that we haven't mentioned. Ibn here. Okay, give him a name. Abdullah. طيب and let me call the thing. Doesn't matter anyway, they're cousins. So. طيب Hind. Oh, that's her mother. Okay, anyway. Hind bint Hind, okay? Hind has got how many children? First, who is Hind? She's the bint of Zayd. طيب. Who's Abdullah? He's the son of Hind. Who's Adam? Son of Hind. Hind. Bint Hind. What's their full name? Abdullah. Abdullah ibn Hind. Exactly. So they don't even come into it because, well, they don't come into it because first and foremost, they are awlad or banat or abna al-bint. They're from the female line. Okay. They're in reality they're not going to say Abdullah ibn Hind ibn Zayd. They don't take anyone who knows your father's yani Alan. Every one of you is called Muhammad ibn your father's name. Who takes their mother's name? No one. Everyone knows how, the majority of you know how tribes work, okay? No one takes the name of their children, of their mother. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was he called Muhammad ibn Amina? La. مثلا Ali and Hassan and Hussein, were they called Hassan ibn Fatima? La, they take the male descendant. So because of that, they don't come into the inheritance. Okay? They don't come into the inheritance directly. Somewhere along the line they may come into by way of kinship, but at the moment they don't come into it. Ismail.
Can you imagine that there's another family tree right next to it, with their father? So
whose father?
So
Tayyib. Okay. So him is the wife of, let's say, give me a name. Huh? Zubayr, yeah? Tayyib. Zubayr is this person's father, this person's father, this person's father. So Abdullah ibn Zubayr, Adam ibn Zubayr, Hind bint Zubayr. Khalas. They're now the children of Zubayr. Zubayr is a different tribe. He's not related to Zayd, obviously. Okay? He's not related to Zayd. Khalas? Okay. This is who I mean by, or who the fuqaha mean by ibn bint. Fine. There's one other thing. Level. We've got level 1 here and level 2 here. Yeah? If this level is there, okay, now let's get rid of these people that are not even in this inheritance. Khalas. At the moment, these are the people that inherit, okay? The first level, let's say Zayd passes away. Hind and Ahmed are both alive. These people don't even come into it. And the reason is, who's closer to you? Your children or their children? Your children or your grandchildren? Who are closer to you? Your children are closer to you. Is that understood? Khalas. Fine. So let's say Ahmed and Hind are both alive. These children don't come into it. Is that understood? Okay. Let's say Hind is not alive. She's passed away. Can they now come into it? No. No, they can't come into it. You sure?
Yeah, because
their father's there. Right. Hind is alive, their father passes away. Can these people come into it?
yes.
They come into it, right? Okay. So, in this case, now that you've studied this already, what does Hind get? Nis. Why? Excellent. She gets half. But why did she get half? Because there's no brother of us. Ahmed has died. And is there another daughter on this level? La. Therefore, she gets half. What do these people get? That's what we're going to study today. Have you pictured who we're talking about? Like, this, we won't move on to level 2 if level 1 has people on it. Especially a son. If there's a son on level 1, don't even look at those people that are below. And we're going to see that today. Do you have a question? Thank you. I've got to read them, please. Yeah. Times 6 halat. We're going to study 6 different halat. And this class makes it easier to understand. Go on.
وهي العلم كتاب المواريث وهي العلم بقسمة التركة بين مستحقيها.
خلاص.
والأصل
So
فيها.
the Sheikh says, رحمه الله, كتاب المواريث, the book of inheritance. The next word he says what? وهي, and it is, he's defining it now. وهي قسمة التركة بين مستحقيها. It is dividing the tarikah between those people that are deserving of the tarikah. Go on.
والأصل فيها قوله
And
تعالى.
the asl fihi, al-asl, by now you should know what Shaykh Sa'di means and what the fuqaha mean. Al-asl fihi, meaning the dalil for it. Al-asl ay daliluhu, i.e. its dalil, its evidence is. طيب.
قوله تعالى في سورة النساء يوصيكم الله
خلاص.
في أولادكم.
The Shaykh rahimahullah, he starts off the inheritance, the whole chapter, by bringing the verses. Okay? The Shaykh is going to mention Bana, Bint, Ibn, Ukht, Ab, Jad. He's going to mention each individual and what they get. Is understood? What did we study? We talked about half, and then we talked about who gets half, who comes under half. We talked about Thuluthan, and we talked about who gets it. Right? And we talked about, for example, a rubu' and who gets a rubu'. And then we said 2 people, or 3 people, or 4 people, and so on and so forth. These 2 methods are used by the fuqaha. Some use this, where they mention the actual fund, the actual amount, and sometimes they mention the actual person that is going to inherit, and then what he gets in different situations. And that's the method that Shaykh Sa'di follows. So for the last 2 weeks, and the homework that you did, it was on this, it was using this method, and that method is easier. Go on.
قوله تعالى في سورة النساء يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين إلى قوله تلك حدود الله الآيات وقوله في آخر السورة
He mentions 3 verses. These 3 verses, if you memorize them, you've memorized Fara'id, or the majority of Fara'id, about 85% of Fara'id. يوصيكم الله, verse number 11, Surah Nisa. يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. In this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the inheritance of the children and the inheritance of the parents. Then the next verse, the next page, 12, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about وَلَكُمْ نِصْفُ مَا تَرَكَ أَزْوَاجُكُمْ. طيب. Allah talks about the wife and the husband, what they get, and what the brothers get, and the sisters get. طيب. Then the last verse, يَسْتَفْتُونَكَ فِي الْكَلَالَةِ, the last verse of Surah An-Nisa 165, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about brothers and sisters, what they get. Brothers and sisters from the father's side or the mother, li'ab or li'ashaqiq, full or half from the mother's side, or from the brother's side. طيب.
مع حديث ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما مرفوعا ألحقوا الفرائض بأهلها فما بقي فلأولى رجل ذكر متفق عليه.
Then he says these 3 verses have covered the majority of inheritance. Then he mentions a hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. The hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, the Messenger ﷺ said, ألحقوا الفرائض بأهلها. Give the people their inheritance, the furud, the ones that have been given a third, a fourth, a specific amount has been mentioned. So Ibn Abbas, the hadith of Ibn Abbas, the Prophet is telling us, for example, if there's an Ibn here, no, not Ibn. If there is a bint here, now I'm going to explain the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. The Messenger ﷺ said, give the people that are deserving of a third or fourth, give them their right, then whatever's left, who takes it? The first male or the closest male relative to the person. So for example, the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas tells us, bint. What does a bint get? In this situation, there's no one. Am, an uncle. What does the bint get here? Nisf. So the hadith Abdullah ibn Abbas. So now, if we've given her half, we put 1 here. We've given her half, which is 1. What is half of 2? 1. We've given her 1. What is left? So, مثلا, someone dies, he leaves the bint and an am. His daughter, we've given her half the wealth. The am is left, right? So that's where the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas comes in. So the messenger in this hadith is telling us, give ashabul furud their furud. Give the people that have been mentioned in what we've studied for the last 2 weeks, the ones that have got a third, 2/3, so on, give them their right. So we've done that. The second part of the hadith is, and whatever's left, give it to the first, the nearest or the closest male relative. Is that understood? So here we have Am, he's the closest male relative. He hasn't left anyone but a bint and Am. He hasn't left anyone. So what do we give him? We give him whatever's left. Whatever is left. So for example, if a person died and he left a daughter and an uncle and he left £50,000, how much does the daughter get? 25. Whatever is left is given to who? Given to the uncle. Right. Have you understood that hadith? Right. Why did I explain the hadith and I didn't explain the verses? Because the verses we explained in the last 2 weeks. Okay? You already know the rulings of the verses. At the moment, you guys know the rulings of all of these 3 verses in Surah An-Nisa. You know all of the rulings. That's why when I said bint and am, you were automatically able to say bint gets how much? Half. You know all of the ahkam, the rulings. The next thing that you need to do, which will make it easier for you, is to memorize these 3 verses. Khalas. That's it. So you've memorized it, you know the ahkam, but just memorize the verses and wallah will make it easier. The hadith that I explained has an extra piece to it, an extra hukum, an extra ruling. Did we study the am in the last 2 weeks? La. Like now, this hadith mentions it. Whatever is left, we give it to the nearest male relative. I'll give you an example. ثلاثة بنات. A person lives behind 3 daughters. What do the 3 daughters get, sisters? 2/3, because the conditions are met. طيب. Act upon the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. Implement that. What do we give the akh shaqiq? This akh shaqiq is a brother of the deceased, a full brother of the deceased. He's literally the closest male relative we've got here. Huh? Baqi. Excellent. So we write ba. Okay? So we would write 3, 2 here. We're going to give them 2. What are 2/3 of a 3? 2. And then we only give him 1. That is literally the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. He talks about hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas. The extra ruling that it gives us is the akh shaqiq, the am, and so on. And just
is it give the nearest male relative?
Nearest male relative. From the father's side, طبعا. From the father's side. Is that understood? From the father's side. Carry on with the matan. Go on.
So in that case, it will be the women never get asr.
The women what?
The women, they never get at the bathroom. They always have a front qadr.
Like, women don't always have a certain amount. In the majority of cases, about 95%. Sometimes they get whatever is left. There's a qaida, no. Sometimes they take money or they take the wealth as asabat. But we haven't studied that yet. Asabat, we haven't studied that yet. I just wanted to explain what فما بقي فلأولى رجل ذكر. That's what I wanted to explain. That we're going to get to, inshallah. Right. Any questions on what we've heard so far? Go on.
See the number you put. The last one was full thing.
Full thing.
Did you get the 3 from the lowest common denominator?
Now, don't worry about that. How we work that out, okay. That number that you keep seeing me put here, whether it's this, whether it's 24, that is something called a nisabul arba'a. We're going to have a specific lesson, inshallah, 2 hours on just working out what number to put here. Right? Asaba? Now leave Asaba alone for now. Asaba has nothing to do with us at this particular moment. Or Asaba, there's a whole chapter for it. Asaba basically means the nearest male relative. And women can come into it, like only in a few circumstances. Asaba are those people that do not take inheritance with a certain amount. Okay. Remember the very first lesson, I said inheritance is of two types. Fard and Asaba. Okay. Fard is half. Ruba. A third. 2/3. A third. A sixth. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. All of that comes under fard. So everyone that you've studied gets one of these. Gets a specific portion. Is that not right? Everyone that you've studied for the last 2 weeks, we've given them a certain portion. Every time this person comes up, we ignore. So for example, did you ever see us giving the akh shaqiq something? La. What about the am? La. What about the jad in most circumstances? No. We said leave these behind. Even the ibn. Did we talk about ibn? What he gets? La. These are asaba. These are male family members from the father's side. They get whatever is left over. Khalas. Okay. Carry on the matan.
فقد اشتملت الآيات الكريمة مع حديث ابن عباس على جل أحكام المواريث.
So the Shaykh says the hadith of Abdullah, these 3 verses and the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, they mention jullu ahkam. They mention the majority of rulings. The majority of rulings. Because there are some rulings that they haven't mentioned. Like the inheritance of the grandmother. God.
وذكرها مفصلة بشروطها فجعل الله الذكور والإناث من أولاد الصلب وأولاد الابن ومن الإخوة الأشقاء أو لغير أم إن اجتمعوا يقتسمون المال وما أبقت الفروض للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين.
The Shaykh literally says, right? Brothers and sisters, if there's just brothers and sisters inheriting, they take whatever is amongst them. The father leaves 100 grand, they take 100 grand. Obviously the male gets 2 portions. Daughters and sons, if they get left behind, the person dies and he leaves behind 2 sons and 2 daughters, they literally take everything, if there's no one else involved. Is that understood? Like in reality, there are 6 situations that we can divide this into. And I'm gonna write the hal, the situation, and we're gonna do exercises on it. And when we finish the first hal, then we're gonna move on to the second, then the third, and so on. The first situation is if there is an ibn or akthar. فقط. The first scenario that I want you to write is, okay, so the matan is obviously concise. The Shaykh hasn't mentioned everything in the matan, okay? Lakin, we're going to mention 6 scenarios that clarify everything that the Shaykh mentioned. Is that understood? Right. This first situation, the first scenario is, if a person leaves behind 1 son or more. He leaves behind 1 son or more. Faqat. 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 Yeah. What should we do? So now, who is here? What is here? And we obviously want to explain why as well. Okay. If a person leaves behind 1 son or more, meaning 2 sons, what do they get? Did I not explain it? Sorry. Did I not explain this part? Right, sorry. They get everything. They get all of the wealth. A man dies, Ali dies, and he leaves behind one son, and his name is Ahmed. Ahmed takes all of the inheritance. He lives in a far off land. They're both, the father's 90 and the son is what? Let's say 70. No one from their family is left. The father passes away. He leaves behind who? One son. One son. What was the father's name? Ahmed. He's no longer in the picture. This is the son. He is the Ibn. Is that understood? Ahmed is the only Ibn. What does Ahmed do? He takes all of the wealth. Everything that is there, he takes. He's what they call Asaba. Asabatun. Asabatun. He's the closest male relative to Yusuf. Is that understood? He's the closest male relative to Yusuf. Is that understood? So we've talked about Ahmed, he's the who. What does he get? He takes the whole man, everything. Why? Because he's the closest male relative and there's no one else. Okay?